G'day guys, welcome back to another Unity tutorial. I thought what I'd go over today is a continuation on I was originally going to do the inventory for this lady, but I thought, well, how about we actually do some sort of quest, because this guy's going to give you money. In order to spend the money, you're going to need to make money. So I thought what we might do is do some sort of quest system today. This guy looks a bit like Jesus, so I'm just going to delete him now. Delete. And he's got Michael Jackson gloves on for some reason. But anyways. So, what do we need to do in order to do that? First off, let me crack my bourbon. Brought to you by Jim Beam. Hard day at work. Okay. So there's a couple of ways we can go about this. This one's just going to be a nice easy way, but you'll be able to use the same basic principle for once we get into making an inventory. The quest might be go and steal this spear off this guy or something like that. So you can implement the same sort of system for, you know, adding it to your inventory, and then obviously it triggers the quest to be completed and blah blah blah. So, what we're going to do is, first up, we're going to create an empty game object. Game object, create empty. I'm going to zoom out to find where the hell it is to start with, and I'm just going to bring it up. It's about right there. Might just bring it up a little bit more. And for argument's sake, I'm just going to drag it way over here. That'll do. I'm going to add a box collider, make sure it is trigger, and we might just set this one to 5 by 5 by 5. That'll do. Now, what else we're going to have to add? So we can see it, obviously in game, because that's going to be the quest area right here. We're going to need to add, I'm just going to add a light. And that just makes it look a bit, you know, bit different to the scope. And what we might actually do with the light is I'm just going to change the colour of it. I'm going to make it nice pink. And there we go. And we'll put the intensity up. So when you start the game, you can see that pink line right there. So, for the box collider, we're going to make sure it is trigger. And now we're going to do some scripting. So, with the NPC dialogue that is attached to this guy, what we're going to do, if you haven't seen the NPC dialogue tutorial, you best do it, otherwise you might get a bit lost. We're just going to open her up in Mono Develop. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add a couple of different things. So first one I'm going to add is public texture. No, actually no, sorry. What we want to do, because at the moment in the game, you walk up and you talk to this guy, and it activates the quest. You walk out of the trigger, you walk back into the trigger, and it comes up with activate quest. If it is active, if activate quest is already enabled, all of that, you get quest completed, and quest completed gives you player gold plus equals reward amount. So what we want to do is create another bool. Now we'll make it public so we can test it, and we'll go bool, and what we might call this one, we'll just say has done quest. And of course we'll set that one to false to start. Now, what we might do is we might create two public textures. So it'll be a public texture, and we will call this one, we'll just say texture 1. And we'll do the same again. Public texture, and we'll call this one texture 2. How's that? Alrighty, so what we want to do is come down to the first conversation, because obviously just after you've taught the guy, you're not going to be able to, you know, it's not going to be the has done quest straight away. So we're going to come down. That's the questions that he asks you. This will be your yes button. What happens is the yes button, you click it, activate quest comes on, display dialog goes off. So we're going to put in has done quest, and that's going to equal false. Alrighty, you probably don't even need to put that in there, but we'll just put it in there for argument's sake. Now, you go off and you do the quest. So what we're going to need to do is display dialog and activate quest. So as long as those two are triggered, so when you walk in, display dialog equals true, activate quest is true because you've already been asked a question and said yes. So what we're going to need to do now is put another and what we're going to say has done quest. So now when you walk back to the guy, display dialog is true, activate quest is true, and you'll only get this next little bit if has done quest equals true. It's pretty simple. It's quite small little you know, just little extra words you can put in, and it just makes a whole difference to your script. So now what we're going to do, outside of the GUI area, we're going to create an if block, and we're going to deal with these textures. So it'll be activate quest, and if that equals true, what do we want to do? We want to, first up, we want to GUI dot draw texture, and what we're going to want to do is place it somewhere on the screen, and I reckon it might, you know, what this is going to be is, you know, in games like Skyrim, when you get a new quest, it comes up in the screen like, you just received a new quest, or whatever. So what we want to do, I like them in the left-hand side, top left, so we'll just go with that. But you guys can play with it, whatever, however you want, you guys can have it. So what that's going to be is a new rect. And what do we want the rect as? So I reckon 10 pixels from the left, 10 from the top, and we're going to make the texture size, keep it relatively 200, and how high do we want it? We have about 150. Now what we're going to have after that, so we're going to want to put in the GUI skin up here. So what that is what did we name it? We named it texture 1, maybe. Yeah, it is texture 1. I've lost where I'm at now. Jesus Christ. Here we go. Oh no, that's not it. Yeah. Texture 1. Simple. Simple, simple. Finish that off with the semicolon, whatever you want to call it. Now, for some reason, that's giving me an error, which it shouldn't be doing, and that is why. No, maybe not. So, if activate quest equals true, GUI dot draw texture, new rect, 10, 10, 200, there's my error right there. Sometimes it's just worth going back through your code once you've written it, and you get the little red squiggly line. Make sure you put this curly brace in. You can put it here. when you write code, code is all read as one line. Obviously, if we were to have it all as one line, it would be damn impossible to read. So that's why we break it down the way it's been broken down, so we can understand it and read it easier. Alright, so that should be it for, I'll just check the time. 10 minutes, we've got plenty of time. That should be it for this script, so what we'll do is we'll go File, Save, come back into Unity, check that we've got no errors, which we don't. Beautiful. A couple of log warnings, but anyways. So we're going to go into this game object now. This is where the magic happens. I'm going to add a component and call it new script. Not call it new script, we're going to call it quest. Make sure it's C#. Some reason quest never ends up in my scripts, but anyways, all good. And we're going to open it up. So, for quest, I'm going to go off mono behavior to start with. This is a really simple, easy one. So what we're going to want to have is a private, and what we're going to reference is the NPC dialog, and we're just going to call this quest. Why not? Now, in start function, we're going to say quest equals game object with the capitals dot find, and what we're going to want to find is our game object. So whatever the NPC is called, and it is called blacksmith. For me, you guys could be using something else. You could still be using the capsule. So name it however you want, but make sure you remember that name so you can whack it in here. Mine is called Black Smith. I think it's all got lowercase. I think it's all one word too. Give me a sec. Blacksmith, yeah. Bloody racist. And what we're going to do is dot get component. And the component we're going to want to get is the NPC dialog. And make sure we finish it off with our parentheses, or whatever they're called, and our semicolon. Now, we can obviously get rid of update, but rather than mess around with it, I'm just going to change it. So what we're going to have is the on trigger, enter. Now what we're going to be triggering is the collider, and we're just going to name that one Cole. Why not? Cole. So, actually, sorry, my bad. If col dot tag equals, and what we're going to have now is we're going to put in what we've named what we've tagged our player as. So our player, first person controller, is tagged as player right here. So we'll put that in there. If is tagged as player, what are we going to want to do? Well, firstly, we're going to want to... why is that not working? What the hell's going on? Oh. You know why? Because I'm an idiot. Firstly, what we're going to want to do is... I'll just put another space here. We're going to want to destroy the game object. Now, the reason we're destroying that is to save on glitches. So, you know, in games when you do a quest and you can keep completing the quest and earning the rewards from it. So we want to just nib that in the butt while we can. So we're destroying the game object this script is attached to. Now, all we need to do is then just go quest dot. Sorry, one sec. quest dot has done. Now my IntelliSync isn't working, and I don't know why. If has done quest. Sorry, I was just staring blankly into the screen then. And that then equals true. And obviously we'll finish the code off. Make sure there's no more compiler errors. And we'll file and we'll save that one off. Now, this should work. If you've set it all up properly, this should work. So, what we're going to do, first off, we're going to sprint over this guy. And he's going to go, hey there, could you do me a favour? Could you go over there? Yeah, sure. Haven't put the texture in. Game object gets destroyed. That's a good idea. Or a good indication. Thank you very much. Here is a reward. No problem. Gold added. Then obviously you can go into the shop and spend your hard-earned cash. So, I think that should just about do it. Have a muck around with it, guys. If you've got any questions, ask me. But that script there should get you thinking about how you can go about attaching that script to a game object. Actually, first up, before we do anything, go into first-person controller. Where's me? Oh no, sorry, NPC. And this talk skin. The texture 1. If you're decent with Photoshop, you can create something like this. I just downloaded a texture, deleted the exterior of it, and then just added a text thing over it. So if you add that into texture 1, when he talks to you, in the next one I'll rig in texture 2. Hey, could you go over there? Do me a favour, go over there. Yep. Go over there. Pops up in the corner here. And what we'll do in the... I might even link that to a compass. I reckon that's a good idea. Anyway, guys, I'm just projecting now, but rate, comment, subscribe, talk, ask questions, whatever. I am Australian. Yeah, so anyway, good to teach you guys, I guess, and see you in the next one.